What's up, Browns fans? Welcome to the Dawgs podcast. Let's kick this thing off.
Welcome to the Dawgs podcast with your hosts, Blake Renneker, Zach Kopp, Justin Charles, and Josh All.
Hey, welcome to another episode of the Dawgs. As you can see, no Zach today. His schedule was a little full this week, so we fired him for not being committed to the program. No, just kidding. He's actually a middle school basketball coach helping, shape the youth of America.
Shaping the future.
Yeah, so he's a little busy this week. He wasn't able to make it.
We are in trouble.
Yeah. If we got a world full of Zach Kopps out there, everybody watch out. But, hey, we do have a ton to get into today. But before we get started, remember to check us out on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Please subscribe on YouTube. If you haven't had a chance, remember to download the AGA app on your Roku or Smart TV. Catch episodes on the big screen. Browns are now 9-3. Still have a chance to win the AFC North with our 41-35 throttling of the Titans, and with the Steelers coming out and losing to the football team. But before we get into that, we do have a couple pieces of big news we want to share for you guys. First thing we wanted to let you know is that we've changed our merch provider. Our new store has way more options, some way cooler designs that Josh is putting out. You can get zip-up hoodies now. You can get like Under Armour type T-shirts. It's just better all around. Check out getlevelpod.threadless.com. Get yourself some sweet Dawgs gear.
Actually, a little easier, too. They can just go to getlevelpod.com/store, and that'll take them right there, too.
Okay, cool. So you guys got a couple different options. I was checking out some of the stuff. I'm definitely going to pick up a couple shirts. They look awesome.
Yeah, the nice thing is, I just kind of think, well, what would I, I'm not going to put anything out there that I don't want to wear myself. Like anything that I'm putting on there as a design, I'm getting for myself.
I've seen those designs. Those designs are sweet.
Yeah, I like them a lot.
Those are some fire.
Yeah.
Which one's your favorite? Good.
I'm going to say Nick Chubb. There's some Nick Chubb stuff out there. The Baker one's sweet, too.
I do like the Baker one.
Yeah, the Baker one's nice.
And I just like the different options we got now. I feel like before we just had two different styles, and now we got multiple styles you can choose from.
Yeah, different types of shirts, hoodies, sweatshirts, like you said. Yeah, I like the zip-ups. That's a cool option. So all kinds of swag.
Yep. Get yourself some Browns gear or some Dawgs gear. Now for the biggest news for this podcast, up to this point. The Dawgs, we've actually partnered with Thrive Fantasy. It's a prop bet site for pretty much every sport you could imagine. Obviously, right now, football's the big one, but I saw NBA on there, cricket's on there, so pretty much anything you can imagine. So the first thing you need to do is download the Thrive Fantasy app on your smartphone, or you can go to getlevelpod.com/fantasy, and it'll just take you right to the link to download it on whatever device you're on. Once you have the app downloaded, you'll have to make an account. When setting up your account, there'll be a place to enter a promo code. This is very important. This is where the partnership with this show helps you guys out. In the promo code section, you're going to enter DAWGS, DAWGS. When you do this, they will match 100% of your deposit up to $50 when you deposit $20 or more. So that's very important. If you want to get that 100% match, you have to put in at least $20. For example, this past Sunday, I put $20 on the app. They matched it, so I had $40 to play with. Entered a $25 contest and won $75.
Yeah, you did. I know you were texting everybody the whole time. Like, guys, what was the last one that you needed to happen? Was it Travis Kelce?
Yeah, Kelce
had to get a touchdown, and you were going to win $75. So
yeah,
as soon as he caught that touchdown, I was like, oh boy.
And I'll tell you what, it makes just how fantasy football makes every game a little bit more interesting, exciting. I was watching that Packers game, and I had Aaron Jones on the over a touchdown. And there's about 2.5 minutes to go in the game. I'm like, well, I'm not going to get this. This isn't going to hit. And they're just running out the clock. And then he pulls off like a 70-yard touchdown run. And I was losing my mind in my living room.
Pretty awesome.
It was awesome.
It was. Yeah, and the cool thing with Thrive Fantasy, the prop bets, so what they do, they give you 20 player prop scenarios, and then you pick 10 that you think are going to hit. Either they give you a scenario, and you say, okay, I'm either going over or under that stat. So, it's pretty simple, but, man, does it ever get you into the games?
It's super fun, super easy. You don't have to have a ton of knowledge. You just say, you're going to go off your most recognizable players. You don't even have to, and it's just over under. Do I think they're going to do this, or do I not think they're going to do this?
Yeah, and that's the cool thing. So, we all play fantasy here at the table, and I know most of the people listening, you guys all play fantasy, and for most of us, this past weekend was the final game of the regular season, and now we're moving into the playoffs. And if you didn't make it to the playoffs, how are you going to scratch your fantasy itch? Well, get over to Thrive Fantasy, play some player props. Like I was looking ahead this weekend, Blake. This one's for you. So CMC against Denver, over under half of a rushing touchdown. So basically, they're saying, is he scoring on the ground or not?
I'm going to say he's not even going to play.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Well, if say you were to pick that bet, he has to play at least one snap to be eligible.
right.
So you do get to pick a couple backups. For example, last night I played and I had Des Bryant on every under possible.
Yeah.
And then they pulled him out and he didn't play. So,
Yep.
But the contests are super fun, super easy. Add some excitements to your Sundays. Download the Thrive Fantasy app, and big thing, don't forget to enter promo code DAWGS, DAWGS. They got contests ranging anywhere from 25 cents to $1,000. So you put in 20, they give you 20, and then you can play 25-cent games from now till forever.
Yeah.
So you don't have to go on there and spend big money. You can just go on and have a little bit of fun.
Yeah, but make sure you get your 100% match though for the first deposit.
Yep, put in that $20. Free money. So that's super exciting for us. Super exciting for you guys. We're super happy to be partnered with Thrive Fantasy. Super appreciative of them, and let's all win some money together.
That's right.
All right, so let's move into the Browns. While we're here, coming off arguably the biggest win in the franchise's history, at least the last 20 years. I'm not going to say all of our history, but since we've been back, this modern day era Cleveland Browns, probably biggest win in franchise history.
I was going to say right at the end there when you were talking about Thrive, you said super about 10 times, and I'm like, that's how I feel about the Browns. Like, they were 10 times super.
Yes.
They were amazing.
Coming into this half of the season, when we did our show on the bye week, I said there were 3 games this half that I wanted to see the Browns and even more specifically Baker Mayfield play well against. I didn't care about our games against the Jaguars and whatever other crap team we played this half. I wanted to see us play well against the Titans. I wanted to see us play well against the Ravens, and then down the road I wanted to see us play well against the Steelers. And man, did we step up in a huge way. I mean, I didn't see this coming.
No.
I'd like to say I saw this coming, but
I saw this coming. Zach Kopp saw this coming.
I don't think you guys picked us to win. I don't think you guys picked us to be up 38-7.
35-28, I think.
Yeah, you didn't have us up 38-7 in the first half.
I did not.
I know a lot of, at least some people are probably wanting me to come on here eating crow about Baker because I've been a little tough on him this year.
Yeah.
First, I want to start to say I love Baker Mayfield. I've loved him since we drafted him. I love everything about him except for the way he had been playing. I said I wanted to see him do it against a good team. And all he did was come out and he shut a lot of people up. He made, one bad game didn't make me start to doubt Baker. One good game isn't going to make me crown him. But, man, did he put a lot of my doubts to rest this week. He showed me, unless he falls off a cliff the rest of this year, we can win a playoff game with this guy. He earned his option. In my opinion, this game. There's nothing, I can't say enough good things about Baker this week. He did everything I've been talking about wanting to see out of him. He came up and did it on the biggest stage. How many times in our lives have we gotten up for a Browns game and they let us down? And this guy came out and he delivered in the biggest way possible. Vrabel came out before this game and said, we're not going to let them run the ball. We're going to make Baker throw to beat us. And he was perfect. The first time in his career he's had 0 off-target throws in a game.
Like you said, Vrabel sold out the run, and Stefanski, credit him also, drew up a sweet first half game plan. And a lot of very, very good play calling. Baker looked super comfortable the whole first half. Even, there was times in the second half. I never saw any of those things like we joke around about where he's just panicked.
No, he looked nervous. He looked comfortable, relaxed, completely in tune with the game plan. That first touch, I know everybody's talking about the Donovan Peoples-Jones long one, but that first touchdown to Jarvis where he looks right, moves that safety to the right, and then comes back quick and hits Jarvis on a laser, that's one of the best throws I've ever seen Baker make.
Well, how about the first touchdown that he threw to Donovan Peoples-Jones?
Yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah, where he pumps that guy, get him open.
He hit him right in the hands. And
What's really funny too is not just in our text group where we like get this Michigan guy out of here. It wasn't just our group.
Yeah, all those groups.
And then he comes back and played
himself.
I mean, he played a great game.
Yeah, he did.
That route he ran on his 72-yard touchdown. Yeah. That was a great route. He sold that perfectly. And just the fact that we got a 6th-round draft pick that we can put out there and he can win a one-on-one matchup. Credit the front office for taking a chance on him in the 6th round. And, I think he's played really well for the Browns.
Yeah, I mean, I had heard a couple, who was it? Might have been Urban Meyer, a couple other, prominent people had said in the draft process that, hey, I know this kid doesn't have a huge resume being from Michigan. They don't do a lot of passing there, but he's got first-round talent, second-round talent. I remember reading that and thinking, okay, so we might have gotten a steal in the 6th round. I think we did.
It was high reward, low risk. We took him in the 6th round. And, man, he's played well on special teams, I thought. He's blocked well. And then when his number's been called to produce on offense, that Cincinnati game, this game, he stepped up and done a nice job for us. Let's dive a little deeper into Baker's big day. 25 of 33, 334 yards, and 4 touchdowns, all coming in the first half. I think I saw he's the first person since Mahomes did it last year to throw 4 touchdowns and a half. So just to be even mentioned in the breath of Patrick Mahomes.
And then Brown's legacy, they said Otto Graham's the only other guy.
Yeah.
So to get your name tossed out there with a guy that, as a Cleveland fan, that is Cleveland. That's LeBron James.
Yes.
Those are, for me, that's Albert Bell. Those are Cleveland legacy, you don't have to buy a beer ever again.
Sure, exactly. And it's from our first-round pick. It's from the guy who we picked to be the guy, and we were all so bought into Baker, and we're like, come on, man. And we saw it for that rookie season, man. This is what we saw. And all of last year, it was gone. This is what we expected him to do last year, especially at this point in the season last year. But all it was regression and getting worse. And they were terrible, and he was playing poorly. But if you throw out those bad weather games, or even if you use them or keep them in, whatever, but since that Cincinnati game, including that one, that's 3 games, Cincinnati, Jacksonville, and now Tennessee, he's thrown 11 touchdowns and 1 pick.
Yep.
11 touchdowns. Now, that's also Mahomes-esque. I mean, we were thinking earlier in the season, this is a run. We're going to score a lot of touchdowns on the ground. Baker, maybe 1 or 2 touchdowns a game here and there. Mm-hmm. He's doing 2, 3, 4. I mean, he's 5 against Cincinnati. He's balling out.
Yep.
So what's crazy, too, is we talked about earlier in the year that teams were going to eventually sell out to stop the run. They were going to make Baker throw to beat them. And I thought coming into this game so far this year, when teams had tried to sell out to stop the run, well, one, they haven't had much success.
Nope.
I think the Titans have had the most success stopping our run. We still ran for 110 yards. But they didn't let us rip off those huge chunk yards, and they didn't let Nick Chubb break a 60-yard run, stuff like that. But this was the first time I thought where a team was selling out to stop the run, and Baker played flawless. There's been other, last week against Jacksonville, he had some great throws, but then he made throws that let them stay in the game. And that's what, I was being critical of. This game, he came in, and there was none of that. This is the best game he's played since Oklahoma, since he tore up Ohio State. He just played, I also saw receivers on average on all of his touchdown passes, 3 yards of separation, which is insane, which tells me that Stefanski is a genius. What did we always complain about with Freddie? He couldn't scheme anybody open. He has all these weapons, and we can't get anybody open. Stefanski, his game plan and his scheming is so on point. If he isn't coach of the year, I've said this before, it's highway robbery.
He's definitely making a case for it, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll give him that. He's absolutely making a case for it.
I will argue with anybody who tries to tell me a different coach. That's my coach.
I'm not coming with an answer. So if you got an answer, I'm not trying to think.
I think that there's guys that are very deserving. I know that nobody wants to hear Mike Tomlin. I feel like Mike Tomlin every year gets but
coach of the year, with a team that people were picking to go to the Super Bowl, and now are. And they're 11-1, but everybody thinks they're overrated.
But they're getting worse. Yeah. You can see it with your eyes watching the Steelers. Yeah. They're getting worse. Sorry, Steeler fans out there. I know you guys aren't even listening, so it doesn't matter. Browns fans love it. They're getting worse. So are the Ravens.
Yeah, and I've heard Matt LaFleur He's doing great. They won 13 games in the regular season last year. This Browns team was 6-10. And the organization was in complete shambles.
Oh, and let's not even talk about 0-16 and 1-15 or 1-15, 0-16, 6-10, and now I'm gonna throw this stat out there. I was gonna save it for later, but 97% chance to make the playoffs. Are you kidding me?
In a season in which he had no offseason. He instilled this offense over Zoom.
He met all his players on Zoom 90 days before the season.
We have a hard time doing a podcast over Zoom.
That's fair.
You know what I mean? And this guy can come out and completely turn around the culture of the team. That's why, we're going to get into the Ravens game preview, but I'm not worried about letting this win get to our heads. And it's all because of the culture that Stefanski's built.
Yep.
Whoa.
Oh, you got a little playback.
There you go.
All right.
I do think that they're playing, as far as they're playing for each other too. You can definitely tell that there's some fun chemistry going on. Like, there was always good stuff going on. Like, Higgins would score. They'd all, do the Hollywood walk and all that stuff. There's something different going on over the last 5-6 games. There's
no egos.
No.
We bring in Austin Hooper on the biggest contract, for a tight end in the league at that point. David Njoku says he doesn't want to trade anymore. And these guys aren't distractions. We talked about this last week with Njoku. All Njoku does is come out, does what they ask him to do, get his catch or two a game, and play hard. Hooper, sometimes you don't see him, and all of a sudden he'll have, 5 catches, and he's so big in the run game. How many times do you sign a tight end to that big of a contract, and you ask him to run block this much, and he isn't, moaning about it?
Yeah, I know. And I know we've talked a lot about the tight end position and everything as far as in the passing game. And I think often, I just know, even watching games and stuff, I always forget that tight end is a multi-purpose position.
Absolutely.
They are an extension of the line. They are not just an extension of the receiving core. Receivers have to block on runs and that stuff too, but they're not great at it. You know what I mean? A tight end has to be or should be if they're going to be in there.
Yep.
So, like I said, Browns still rushed for 110 yards as a team, even though it was obvious the Titans were selling out to stop the run. Nick Chubb, 18 carries, 80 yards, and a touchdown. Kareem Hunt, 14 carries, only 33 yards, 3 catches for 24 yards. I will say Kareem Hunt the last few weeks, production going down a little bit. I don't know. Nick Chubb's getting the bulk of the carries. He's kind of been on fire lately. But then when, I say his production's going down, but we used him to ice the game. Yeah. And he just runs so hard. People talk about not wanting to tackle Derrick Henry. Who wants to tackle Kareem Hunt?
I've noticed he's not doing a lot of cutbacks, man. He literally, I think if they built a brick wall, he'd just run through it. He literally does not care. He's not cutting. It's kind of crazy. He runs very, very hard.
He runs with a tenacity, a ferociousness. Nobody wants to step in front of that guy, especially late in the game. You've been getting worn on all game by Nick Chubb, and then we throw this guy in, and he just runs like his hair's on fire. It's awesome.
I know, as a defense, they just got to be like, just come on now.
How's this guy running so hard?
Yeah. One thing about Kareem Hunt, too, that, if you remember the first, quarter, third of the season, he did have that groin injury that he sustained. And I know, Chubb had the knee thing or whatever, but that was something that you can heal from and kind of get back on track. A pulled groin, that can linger. You know what I mean? So even if he's not showing up on the injury reports or saying it's bothering him, it could be holding him back a little bit, because I've been there. It's not fun. So,
but obviously the run game, and I think you saw in this game the threat of our run game on that play action pass to Peoples-Jones. He was 10 yards open because there were 10 of the 11 defenders were within 6 yards of the ball.
Yeah.
Because and that's something that Freddie could not figure out. We came out, we showed our tendency. We run on first down more than any team in the league. So we come out first down. It's right after they scored 17-7. So the Titans are thinking, if we get a stop, we can score on these guys. We get a stop here, we can make this 17-14 real quick. And we come out 3 tight end set, motion into a heavy set. It looks like it's straight run all the way. There's only one receiver on the field, and it's not even Jarvis. It's our 6th round draft pick who barely gets run at receiver. It looks like run all the way. And then credit Baker, the details. I feel like that's what's a big difference in this team this year.
I'm glad
also. The details, that play action fake. But all 10 guys are looking in the backfield. Everybody thought Nick Chubb had that ball.
I'm going to tell you right now, that is one thing that I kept saying during that game Sunday was, I mean, and I've noticed it this season, but man, I really noticed it on Sunday. I'm like, Baker is so good at faking. Like, he's either handing it off or fake hand off. And a lot of times I'm like, I'm not sure. In that split second, I'm like, I don't know who has the ball.
Imagine being a linebacker looking from ground level through 6'4" offensive lineman.
He's so methodical about it. Like whenever he goes to hand off, he does like a little like head jab, and he hands the ball off. And then when he does a fake, he does a head jab, and it's like the motion is exactly the same, and he does such a great job at it.
You can tell a coach is coaching the details. It's the little things that win you football games in the NFL, and Baker has seemed to buy into that, and then he just delivered a perfect ball.
Yeah.
So to me, that's where that game plan just comes in. How many times last year where we game planned this all week, and then Saturday night at midnight, Freddie calls an emergency meeting. Hey, we're going to switch it up. We're not going to do that. Everybody thinks we're throwing to Odell here. We're not. We're going to throw to this guy who can't catch. He just had no clue. And how bad does he look? We have besides the offensive line, it's like the same team almost.
There's
9-3.
The offensive line when Baker was a rookie was nothing to write home about. It was closer to last year's line than it is this year's line. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And Baker excelled. So
I think there's one Cleveland personnel coach guy that's having a rough week more than probably Freddie Kitchens. That would be one Greg Williams. That's probably about it. Imagine being part of 2 0-16 teams. And a one.
Well, he isn't anymore. He's part of
his legacy is set. His legacy is set. That was a very Greg Williams kind of play there, though.
Yeah. So I think another position group that stepped up in a huge way against the Titans, the wide receivers, a guy we got to mention, Rashard Higgins. If this guy didn't earn himself more playing time this week, I don't know if he ever will, because I texted you guys. It was like third play of the game. I said, well, it didn't take long for Higgins to make an impact. Yeah. And then he comes out, 6 catches, 95 yards, and a touchdown. What's this guy got to do to get on the field more?
I don't know.
Man.
I wish that I could just be like, hey, what's really going on here? What is happening? Because when we've talked about it, their connection is great. There's something special there with him and Baker. And he just a healthy scratch or, 4 or 5, routes a game. It's just crazy that he's not out there every play. And it should be.
And we talked, Cardell Hodge had been taking his reps. And, Cardell Hodge, I like him. He's played well for us, but Higgins is clearly a better receiver than Cardell Hodge.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
It's not even close. And every time Higgins is on the field, he produces. So hopefully, if I come out, if I see the depth chart this week and Cardell Hodge is back at that number 2 opposite Jarvis, I might lose my mind.
Yeah, I mean, Higgins is a beast. He plays so well. But it's been like this, though, through different regimes now. So I just wonder what the deal is, like you said.
I feel like we talk about it a lot, and just it's the same story over the last, 3 years now? Just we thought maybe it was a Freddie thing. Who knows? I don't know. I really don't understand it. It just doesn't make sense to me.
No, I also thought it was a Freddie thing, and then same thing with Stefanski, a guy who we all agree is best coach we've had since what? Belichick?
Yeah.
So
I mean, depends on who you ask.
So I mean, he's no Rob Chudzinski.
Right.
But so yeah, hopefully Higgins gets on the field more. Hopefully this is a building block game for him. We got to shout out Peoples-Jones again, 2 catches, 92 yards, and a touchdown. And if he doesn't drop that one, he has his first 100-yard game since high school, which is crazy that this guy's in the NFL and never had a 100-yard game in college. But
where'd he play?
Yeah, good point.
Sure.
So, and then Landry, obviously just old reliable. He seems to be getting healthier from the rib injuries the last couple of weeks as he's been balling out. 8 catches, 62 yards, and a touchdown. We talked about that first one he caught. He's just he's a Cleveland Brown. He just encapsulates everything we want a Browns player to be. I would say him and Chubb kind of like the heartbeat of the offense.
Bro, he's healthy. He is very healthy. The last 2 games, he's unstoppable.
Yeah.
He had 10 targets.
Yeah. Yeah. It's amazing what being healthy and not playing in a hurricane can do for you.
Yeah, no kidding.
For your offense.
No kidding. Offensive line was amazing. Baker was sacked 0 times. I don't even remember him really being pressured. I didn't look up the stats to see how much he was pressured, but it couldn't have been much. You know, Zach was supposed to look up the stats for us. Hey, Zach, how many?
Not here. It's not here.
But no, so offensive line, I think one of the most underrated hirings in the entire league this year is Callahan coaching our offensive line.
Absolutely.
Because, well, look at the difference. It's night and day.
Oh,
Night and day. Obviously, we have a couple different players, but still, just it's night and day compared to the last year, 2 years to this year.
what's really cool to think about too is like when we started this podcast way back in March, I think it was, and we were kind of talking, and then we went through the draft and everything, and we were talking about our preview for the season and the roster and everything. We had like that pie in the sky of, oh, this offensive line, like we should be so good. We should be so good. Mm-hmm. You know, but will we? We should be, but will we? And oh my, it's coming true, man. Like the run game and Baker's protection. I mean, this line, the players, the coach. Yeah, I agree. It's all coming together.
It's awesome to see. I think I saw a stat where we were number 2 in the league in run blocking and number 2 in the league in pass blocking.
I'll take it.
Yeah. I mean that's amazing.
It's pretty good.
So obviously Baker, to wrap up the offense, Baker had an amazing day. To me, he showed that he can be the guy. I mean, I don't want to just like I didn't want to, overreact to a bad game. I don't want to overreact to one good game. But he showed me so much. Tennessee's defense is not amazing by any stretch of the imagination.
No.
But that was an 8-3 football team that beat the crap out of us last year. They have a great coach in Mike Vrabel, and that's a playoff team. And then we made them look in the first half like they didn't even belong on the field with us. And a big reason for that was because of the play of Baker Mayfield.
Well, we were worried too because the week before they had just beaten the snot out of Indianapolis.
Yep.
Who's not a schlub. So there's a little props for the Colts fans watching.
Yeah. So hats off to Baker. Unless he falls off a cliff, we'll see you next year because you just you earn your option.
Next year.
This is what I got to say, too, about Baker's. That confidence, you didn't see the confidence last year under the Freddie fiasco that was happening. And then earlier this year, it was kind of like building, and now it's full-blown. I mean, he's back to Baker swag, I mean, he is Baker.
I love his quotes after the game when he's quoting TV shows.
Yeah, what was this one? The Office, right?
Yeah, when they asked him the difference between him this year and him last year, he said, when I think about what I'm going to do, I think, would an idiot do that? And if he would, I don't do that. Dwight Schrute, Baker Mayfield. So, but Baker's back. I wanted to see him do it against a good playoff team. He did it. I love it. I can't wait to see more of it that's built on this. Let's not come out and have a clunker now. But, man, I feel so much more confident today than I did this time last week.
And you're not going to need this every week. This is unless teams are going to sell out hardcore.
I think this showed though that they can't.
Yeah.
You cannot come out if you do what the Titans did against us, having 10 guys within 6 yards of the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
Almost every play, Baker just showed that he can beat you doing that. And for me, it was the first time where it was a resounding yes. There's been other times where he's been like, I can kind of do it. This was an emphatic, you can't play me like this because I'll torch you.
Yep. What you said, we're not going to have to do this every week, but man, does it feel good to know that we can.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the kind of passing offense that, the Chiefs go out there and win with, where they're Mahomes just throwing the ball to whoever he wants, and they're open, and they're racking up yards and touchdowns and whatever. But we've got the run game ahead of that.
Yeah.
And teams like Chiefs don't have a run game. Right now, Pittsburgh doesn't have a run game.
Pittsburgh has 0 run game.
I mean, the Ravens don't really have that. I mean, last night didn't count because it was Dallas. Their run game's struggling. Mm-hmm. So
everything about the Ravens is struggling. We're going to get into that.
Yes, we are.
So we do got to talk about the defense. Obviously, the defense, weakest part of this team. They're the biggest reason why I have concern going down the stretch in any of our games. We do got to shout them out, though. We bottled up Derrick Henry. A big part of that is because we're up.
I was going to say
4 scores and we'll pretty much take him out of the game. But we did to the Titans what the Titans wanted to do to us.
Yeah, I mean, give the defense some, give them their due, but also know that our offense played defense.
Yes.
We played, you can't give the ball to Derrick Henry today on offense.
The forced fumble by Sheldon Richardson was one of the biggest plays of the game. Because if they go down and score on their first possession and go up, 7-3, it's a completely different
story
game.
Because we had just dropped, that was the Peoples-Jones drop right before that, and then we ended up settling for 3, and it was like, oh, man, of course. We had a great drive to start the game, had a touchdown in our hands, we let it slip away. Turn around, force a fumble, go back. Oh, that was exactly what we needed.
Yeah, I mean, we held Derrick Henry 15 carries. He only got 15 carries for 60 yards. Longest one was 10 yards. So, great job. I thought our defensive line played well. I'm going to give the secondary a little bit of a pass. I still want to see us cover somebody sometime. But, man, are we banged up. Can we catch a break in the secondary? Ward's out. Harrison's out. Greedy still hasn't played. Delpit's been out all season.
Did you get your update on Ward?
I got some updates.
Today?
If you guys want
what's
some
going
updates.
on? Is he going to be back?
So Denzel Ward today, coach updated him from a week-to-week basis to day-to-day.
Okay.
He didn't practice, though.
Well, hopefully he can get back.
And Harrison, he's not, they're saying not going to need surgery now, but he's on IR. He's going to be out at least 2 more games just based on, you have to sit out 3 games. So they're planning for him to be more of a playoff, come back first week of the playoffs. Hopefully.
It makes you wonder, too, like we talked about, at the trade deadline, did we not make a move because there weren't people to sell? Did we not make a move because we didn't know if we were ready to take that leap this year? Now, 9-3, AFC North is still alive with the Steelers losing. Hindsight's 20/20, but, man, I kind of wish we would have made a move for something in that secondary because – we made Ryan Tannehill. Obviously, they were, in desperation mode, and we were playing a little bit more prevent. But, man, he tore us up in the second half. And I've seen if we don't force turnovers, this defense struggles, and it keeps our offense off the field, which is clearly the strength of this team.
Yeah.
We got to –
we live and die on the turnover.
Yes, we have to force turnovers. And credit to the defense, it seems like a lot of games we do come out and force turnovers. But – man, it's like there are always people wide open. And I know we're playing shorthanded, but we got to shore that up. I thought the defensive line played really well. Again, we talked about Sheldon Richardson forcing that fumble, kind of a key point in the game. Miles got another sack coming off the COVID list. Olivier Vernon played every defensive snap again. So, a guy that we kind of were giving a hard time to this year, he stepped up when we needed him to. He's played every snap of multiple games now. I'm glad he restructured the contract because I still don't think he's playing like a $20 million a year guy, but he's just been a steady presence on that defense for us, doing basically what we've asked him to do when we need him to do it.
Yeah, and shout out to Myles Garrett too because coming off the COVID list, I had heard that he's had comments about COVID hit him pretty hard, and he was pretty down with it and everything. So way to bounce back. Football. And it's a physically draining and exhausting sport. So for him to be able to get out there and do his thing like that, that was pretty good to see.
So that pretty much wraps up what we thought of the Titans game. Obviously, an emphatic win for us. Biggest win in Baker's career. Biggest win for the Browns franchise in the last 20 years. And hopefully a stepping stone on the way to, what we thought was maybe just make the playoffs and who knows? Maybe this is going to be a playoff run type season. So let's move.
We'll be playing a lower seed if things right. I'm sorry.
I think we're 5th right now.
We're the top wild card.
What I'm saying is wouldn't we play the worst division team though?
I think the last I saw we'd be playing Buffalo or the Titans the first week of the playoffs.
I'd take it.
So we obviously know. I think we can win either one of those games. And honestly, I have our eyes set higher now with the way the Steelers are starting to struggle. So let's move into this Ravens game. What we want to see out of the Browns against the Ravens. Obviously, the Ravens just played last night, Tuesday night. They got a win over the Cowboys, 34-17. I didn't get to watch the game, but I know at halftime it was way closer. And I'm just looking at some of these stats. Lamar only 12 completions for 107 yards, threw a pick. They ran the ball well against Dallas, but who doesn't?
I know it's so hard to take anything away from this game. And all right, hold on a second. Sorry, I got ESPN up on my computer. Forgot to turn that one off.
Oh, Zach was here to be giving you such a hard time.
You're right. Shoot.
Oh, man.
But he's not.
Yeah, he's in the chat. Hi, Zach. But hopefully I want to see a completely different Browns team than when we played these guys week 1, which I think we clearly are. That was the first game of, new coach, new regime, no offseason to prepare. We didn't really have our identity yet. And we still ran the ball decent in that game.
We did.
We averaged, 6 yards a carry. We just couldn't stop anybody. So we were the Titans. We had to throw so much, and then Baker threw picks. It was just a recipe for disaster. But we've kind of trended up, and they've been trending down. I thought last night they were going to come out and absolutely smoke the Cowboys. I was like, Baltimore's so well coached. They're getting their players back. They're going to come out and they're just going to, I kind of thought the problems with the Ravens were a little bit overblown. And then they played a tight ball game for a half with these guys. And I was like, man, maybe there are more problems in Baltimore than what I thought.
Well, I know from the first half, I didn't watch it play by play or anything, but I was watching the game. And, for that Dallas offensive line being in shambles this year, I don't know if they have any starters right now left on that offensive line. Zeke's been struggling, obviously. He was running the ball very well against Baltimore in that first half. So now they got to go take on a good offensive line, good running backs, and I don't know, man. I like what's going to happen here in a few days.
I'm very, very, I love me some Cleveland. I'm kind of nervous. It's a division game against a team that they always play us to kill us. Same with the Steelers. They come out to dominate us, and I don't think it's as easy wash as...
No, I'm cautiously optimistic.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's an easy game.
But there's something, I touched on this. I hope we don't read our own newspaper clippings. One win against the Titans, to move us to 9-3, that's not the goal. And we hear our players say that. Baker actually said that. The goal wasn't to be 8-3 or 9-3 whenever he said that. Stefanski's all about the work. I watch him in the locker room, post-game when he's talking to the team.
Yeah.
But, Baltimore is so well coached. John Harbaugh is a great coach. They're going to be, he's going to just be talking that up. Look how the media is putting these guys on a pedestal. Everybody's talking about the Browns now. 2 weeks ago, I watched ESPN for 4 hours, couldn't catch anything about the Browns. Every 10 minutes this week, it's about the Browns. And I love it, but I hope that doesn't go to our heads. And I don't think Stefanski will let it, but John Harbaugh is going to be, playing that up on their end. Look, everybody's crowning these guys. They're the golden boys of the AFC now, and they're going to come out fired up. It's a Monday night game. So I think we're going to have to weather the storm a little bit. I think we're going to have to be able to take a couple punches, and then we're going to have to deliver a couple back. I think this is going to be a really close game.
Well, this is a good test for Stefanski. It's the first time he's going to take his team out there against a division rival after a blow. I know the game was close in the end, but it was a blowout against the Titans. I mean, that's what it was.
Yes.
It was a big win, and now we get to see how they respond.
Yeah. The score of that Titans team does not dictate.
No, it's not. It's not the truth.
What happened in that game?
That was a beatdown.
Yeah, but I will say the one thing that we don't need to worry about with the Ravens is Lamar throwing 300-plus yards like Tannehill did. Lamar Jackson's lucky he hits 100 yards. Him and Cam Newton this year.
Yeah, I actually have some of his last games. He has only gone over 200 yards this year 3 times. 275 against us in week 1, 204 in week 2 against Houston, and 208 against the Steelers. He did it 4 times, 249 against New England. But his other games, 97 against Kansas City. 193 against Washington, 180 against the Bengals. Against the Bengals,
And it's not because they're rushing for 200 yards on offense.
no,
like
because
we are.
their run game is struggling.
Mm-hmm.
186 against the Eagles, 170 against the Colts. He only threw for 186 against this Titans team that Baker just shredded. So he's struggling a little bit. I think the league is figuring him out. And I don't know, maybe not just for my fantasy team, but what happened to Mark Ingram?
He's what, 31?
There's 30 running backs that are competent.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. If I'm coaching the Ravens, I'm going, we were arguably the best team in the league last year with this 1-2 punch, and now we are struggling to win games. We're 1-5 or 2-5 in our last 7, and maybe I should get this guy the ball.
I mean, obviously, with Lamar, just to go back to that, I don't think anybody's really worried about his passing. The threat is
Right.
The threat's the legs. And then Zach even said, even though we think that they're struggling on, rushing and everything, they lead the NFL in rushing.
Do they really?
Yeah. So they're not struggling as bad as,
Yeah, but we also had a couple games where you got to kind of put an asterisk in there.
Yeah. Where we didn't have Nick Chubb.
Well, didn't have Nick Chubb and didn't have anything except for rain, sleet, snow, hail. Yep. You were there,
Yeah, it was awful. Yeah.
Didn't have Wyatt Teller.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd feel better if Harrison was out there. I would love to have Harrison, and then we could have spied like we did for the Texans. Like how they just locked down Deshaun Watson. That was his job that whole game.
Yeah.
All he did was, hey, contain. We don't have that. Is there a guy on our team that can do that? Can we contain Lamar?
That don't let this guy run all over us. Please, we'll do whatever we have to do to keep him in the pocket. And then, like Zach said, if they are, if they're leading the league in rushing, they can control the clock. We cannot get down early. We can't get down early because what keeps our offense so explosive is when the whole playbook's open, the threat of that run and stuff like that. So we can't have this like it was in week 1 where we blinked and we're down 2-3 scores.
No, it has to be the other way around because we got to treat this the same way we did with the Titans as far as the Derrick Henry thing. Because if we get up big early, Lamar can't run every time. I mean, he's going to have to resort back to I got to get the ball downfield quicker. We got to move faster, more yards at a time. Got to throw the ball, and that's what we want. We want Lamar Jackson throwing the ball because he's shown this year he's not very good at it.
The Chargers were the first team. What was that, 2 years ago in the playoffs where they really laid that blueprint out? That is the blueprint to beat them. Do we have the personnel
to do that?
Because there's some teams that we can't even. I mean, we saw Jacksonville smoke us with Mike Glennon.
Yeah, that's what makes me nervous.
I mean, I don't know.
You can make the argument Mike Glennon's a better thrower of the football than Lamar, but we don't have that threat of him taking off and running. We have to deal with the fact that if we're not disciplined in our pass rush lanes, Lamar can scramble for anywhere from 5 to 80 yards in the blink of an eye.
Yep.
So hopefully the defense is up to the task. Hopefully we can come out and match them punch for punch. Keep this a 4-quarter game. Don't let them get up big on us. Let us keep our full playbook open, and I think we can win this game. It's just I think. Just because we're ascending and they're descending a little bit, by no means do I think this is an automatic win for us. I think this is a very, very tough game for the Browns.
Well, and heads up, too, because this is the Monday night game this week, so America will be watching.
Blake, do you remember the last Monday night game that
against the Ravens?
Baltimore played Cleveland in Cleveland? I sure do. I was there live with Blake. It was the worst day of my life up until that point.
For those of you guys who don't remember, we're lining up for, I believe, around a 50-yard game-winning field goal with about 4 seconds to go in the game. I think it was Travis Coons was our kicker, who had a tendency to get anything over 50 yards blocked. Well, turns out, he got it blocked. They scooped and scored and beat us with 000s on the clock. I was stunned. I'd never seen anything like it. It was unbelievable. So we owe him a little bit of Monday night revenge for that.
Absolutely.
But so hopefully the offense comes out. Got to get Chubb going. Got to get Hunt going. And I want to see Baker. So we saw it once now. And Baltimore's defense is probably better than the Titans' defense. So can he build on that? Let's build on. Let's not be one-game wonders now. I'm not telling him he's got to come out and throw for 4 first-half touchdowns. But let's keep playing good, smart football. Let's hit those big throws when they're there. Let's continue to not turn the ball over. Let's build on that last game.
One thing, too, I wanted to mention, I just remembered. I believe Calais Campbell may be questionable.
I did see
for
that.
this game because I know last night he was playing against Dallas, but he wasn't. And the announcers kept saying, too, over and over, Campbell's not right. Campbell's not right. He was limping. He wasn't playing like his normal self. So if he's not in the game or if he's in but he's limited, I mean, that's big for us because he's a big part of that defense, and he really hurt us that week 1 matchup.
Yeah. So is Mark Andrews playing?
Mark Andrews came off the COVID list today, I believe, so I'm pretty sure he's projected to play.
Okay. We got to limit him.
Yes.
That is Lamar's safety net, and I feel like he's torn up the Browns. So we have to limit Mark Andrews, and then pretty much the only deep threat they got is Marquise Brown. Limit him, and then just come out and do what we do. Let's play good, smart football, force a couple turnovers, don't turn the ball over on our end, and let's get out with a win. Go to 10-3. Who saw that coming except for me and Zach?
I thought 10-6 was very, very nice for myself. I thought that I was giving them. I thought I was being very kind to them.
Well, I mean, to be
10-6.
fair, we've not yet till this year seen a head coach come in and actually do something with this team. Last year you said it earlier in the show, Blake. I mean, Freddie came in with all that talent, this basically the same talent we got this year, and it didn't go well.
We're so much more disciplined.
Oh my gosh, yes. And the thing is, we're disciplined and we are physical. You know what I mean? Like when you watch us run the ball and our offensive line they control the line of scrimmage most of the time. It seems like they're getting after it, and I love it, man. Like this is the Cleveland Browns football team that we're supposed to be.
One thing I did want to say before we wrapped up the Titans, I almost forgot. We just throttled these guys. A playoff team, a team that everybody was super high on coming into this game. We didn't play anywhere, in my opinion, our best game.
No.
We had a lot of penalties.
13.
We had 13 penalties for 92 yards. The uncharacteristic of this team this year. We had a drop touchdown pass.
Yeah.
Baker fumbled on a 4th and 1 at the end to give them a touchdown. We did not play a perfect football game.
I felt like the refs kind of were trying to keep them in the game, too. Maybe I'm just like, that's like.
I thought it was a fumble.
No, I'm not even saying that play. I'm just saying I felt like there was a lot of questionable calls where I was like, and how many times do I have to watch Myles Garrett be grabbed by the face mask or by the jersey? They never call anything. I mean, it is insane. I don't know what else this guy has to do.
Thank you for bringing that up.
No problem. Hey,
I remember,
no problem.
okay, so yeah, I was watching the game and I was getting so frustrated because I kept watching the replays and stuff. And I remember one specifically, and I don't know how these guys are missing this. I mean, you're watching the quarterback and he's at the quarterback. He had a hand hooked inside his face mask.
Yes.
His helmet's being turned sideways.
Yep.
And there was another one where he reached out. I texted you on this one, you guys. He reached out his arms to grab Tannehill. And you actually saw Myles Garrett go backwards.
Yeah.
Like his hands came out of and I'm like, the guy yanked him back.
Yeah. Yep. So, I don't know. I don't like to be like that either. Like, I hate to be like, oh, now if I'm at the Browns game, I'm yelling at the refs all day.
Oh, yeah.
I like this to do it. It's fun.
But if you're even thinking, Myles Garrett needs to be doing a little more, he's not getting as many sacks. He is getting, he's just, it's not fair. It's not fair how good he is, how much better and more athletic he is than these offensive linemen.
It's crazy.
And they're going to do illegal stuff to stop him because it's the only way to stop him.
Yep.
So good for him.
But yeah, so that's just something I want to touch on before we move on. We can play better. We just throttled an 8-3 team, and we can definitely play better. We can clean some things up.
And I trust Stefanski to watch the tape and clean those things up this week. I do.
And honestly, that's the kind of thing, if you're the coach, you got to come in and you got to say, hey, great win, but look at this. You're not that good. Look at all these things we need to work on.
Sure, great win, but it's over.
Yeah. So I look for him to do that, and I look for us to come out and, win or lose in this game. I don't see us losing this game 36-6 or whatever the first game was. So that's the little bit of the Ravens preview. Let us know what you guys think, how you guys think it's going to go. So when we get into our game picks here, I have to do this because Zach's not here again, so bear with me.
We're blaming everything on Zach tonight.
Yeah, I know. So from last week, Josh, another rough week for you, man.
I gotta quit trying to be cute, like with upsets and stuff at this point in the year, and just.
So Josh with a record of 8-7. Justin and I had real good weeks, 12-3. So solid weeks over there. And then Zach had 10-5. So he keeps his lead on the year, 132-59. Josh, you're in second place, 127-64. One game ahead of me at 126-65. So we're closing the gap a little bit. Picked up 2 games on Zach this week. Justin, you're in fourth place, 121-70.
Just grabbing games back, just methodically crawling back into it. Just, nobody's watching. I'm like the horse at the back of the pack in the Derby. I'm just making a late run.
Yeah, you're there. What's crazy is we're all within a few games of each other.
Put your money on Charles for the end. Put your money on him for the parlay.
Yeah. So, all right, so let's move into this week's game picks. Zach was supposed to send me his picks. Do you guys have them?
No.
Nope, he sent me the chart, but I'm not seeing the picks. So what we're going to do is, I know Zach's listening right now.
He just lost first place.
Yeah, so he's going to enter all our picks, and we'll just let him enter his picks on his own time.
So this is the honor system.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I'll trust him.
Zach, you can't enter these on Monday or Tuesday.
Yeah, I tried to text him and tell him, ask him where his picks were. I told him I couldn't stall anymore, but he's not answering. So,
all right, Thursday night, tomorrow night, we're right back into football.
Yeah. So, first game, New England at the Rams.
I will take the Rams. They are 4-1 at home this year. Patriots are 2-4, and Cam Newton, yikes, throwing the ball.
Yeah, they're playing well though.
They are, but the Rams have a very good defense.
Very, very good defense.
I'm going to go the Rams also, but don't color me shocked if the Patriots somehow win this game.
No, I'm never shocked if the Patriots win a game.
No, and it's a Thursday night game, so you know what that means. We're all picking the Rams, so you know what that means. Patriots will win this game.
Yes. So that moves us into Sunday. Houston at Chicago, a battle of nobody cares.
Yeah, I'll take Houston in this one.
Yeah, also. Houston.
These Bears they were 5-1, haven't won a game since.
Yep.
And it's kind of just falling apart. They're losing in creative ways now. So, I think Nagy's on his way out. I think it's about to be everybody's on their way out. I'm going to go with Houston also.
Yeah, it's time for a new head coach, new quarterback combo.
Yep. So that moves us into Dallas at Cincinnati. Andy Dalton going back to his old team.
Yep. Give me Dallas. I think Andy Dalton's going to get him.
That is a terrible game.
Now, that's the game of nobody cares.
Yeah.
People would care if Burrow was still in.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, yeah, but they wouldn't be 2-9 if he was still in either.
True. I'm going to go with Dallas, too, because even though they just lost, I feel like they're playing a little bit better at times.
Well, I mean...
It's not translating to wins, but they're not getting shellacked.
Yeah, and you want to talk about no offseason, and now they've got the backup quarterback who's brand new to the system and the team and everything this year, new head coach. I mean, it doesn't work out for everybody like it does for us.
Is McCarthy fighting for his job?
I hope so.
Yes.
I know Jerry Jones is like, no, he's good. He's back next year. But
what's crazy is he took a year or two off, and all we heard was how he completely just studied the game of football. He built like his man cave and had all these coaches come over, and all they did was break down film, and he completely reinvented himself. Okay. Because I'm not seeing that. And I wake up every day and am so thankful that Kevin Stefanski is our head coach and not Mike McCarthy.
Yeah, man. It's bad. And that, you want to talk about talent loaded?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
So we all on Dallas there?
I'm on Dallas too. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So let's move into then Green Bay at Detroit.
Yeah, I'll take Green Bay.
Oh, man, you're jumping out of the 1 o'clock slate on me here. Yeah, give me Green Bay.
Yep. So we're all on Green Bay. So that moves us into Kansas City at Miami. Kind of a big matchup.
And let's go Mahomes and Chiefs and just, give the Dolphins another loss. Let's push them down the board.
Kansas City didn't look that great against Denver. But are they getting bored? You know, it seems
a division game. We always talk about that too. I don't know.
They only scored one touchdown. It won me $75. But they were in the red zone. What, 4? They had 5 field goals, I think.
Yeah, I don't look for the Chiefs to struggle back-to-back games or anything like that. So
I'm in on Kansas City also, but I was just pointing it out. They didn't play that great.
No, I mean, and Miami's, they're no slouch this year.
Yeah, I'm taking the Chiefs. Didn't they score 2? Because they had Tyreek Hill had that crazy catch, and then you said Kelsey had one too.
They didn't review that catch though.
They punted after that.
Really? That's crazy.
Yeah, for anybody who did not
get to see that game.
All right, go back and watch the replay, because if anybody out there listening didn't see it, did you?
The catch is crazy.
Yeah, I mean,
it's an insane catch.
The ball's up in the air, it comes down, he falls down, he's landing on his back, he's getting tackled, the ball falls down
in his arm,
yeah. And then he gets up with the ball and gives it to the ref, and they're like, 4th down.
All right, cool.
And it's wait a second, he caught it.
Yeah, I was stuck at work, so I did not get to watch that game. But yeah, that is wild. Okay.
Yep. If you've ever seen a guy catch a touchdown and not know he caught a touchdown, there it was.
There it was. Yeah. Okay.
So that moves us into Arizona at the Giants. And I told you I'm never picking Arizona again, so I'm going with the Giants.
And I said I'd never pick a New York team.
I actually think the Giants are going to win this game.
I do too, because I think something's wrong with Kyler Murray. They're on the down, and New York, I mean, I'll tell you what, that defense, they're coming up, and we got them next.
Yep.
Yeah, next. So.
Yeah, I'm taking Arizona, guys. Come on now.
There we go.
I'm taking Arizona there. Don't get me wrong, Giants, the defense
They've won what, 5 of their last 6 or 5 of their last 7?
Yep. Danny Dimes is probably
just beat Seattle at Seattle.
Yeah.
Made Russell Wilson look pedestrian.
Yeah, he's kind of been doing that to himself, though, here the last month or so. He's definitely out of the MVP race.
For sure. It's Rodgers and Mahomes.
Yep.
So that moves us into Minnesota at Tampa Bay. I don't love Tampa Bay, but I'll go with Tampa Bay.
Yeah, I'm taking Tampa Bay, too.
Minnesota's been playing so much better, though.
Kirk Cousins is lighting it up.
He is, but Tampa Bay off a bye week. I'll take Tampa Bay.
I saw a stat earlier today that said in the last 6+ seasons, name the quarterbacks that have thrown for 3,000 yards and 25 touchdowns. And the list is one person, is Kirk Cousins.
Really?
Yeah. He's done it 6 years in a row or something.
It's crazy because I think of Kirk Cousins and I just think, not good.
Everybody says that, but the dude, every year.
I don't think not good. I mean, I don't.
One of my favorite NFL videos is that one where that dude's, it shows that guy and it's like Kirk Cousins scrambling and he throws the ball and it's in his backyard and the ball just goes over his house.
His completion percentage is always crazy high.
Yep.
He always throws for 25 touchdowns and at least 3,000 yards, and he doesn't turn the ball over that much.
I think he's just not flashy.
Yeah.
He's not a.
And we forget when he was the starter in Washington, he was throwing for 5,000 yards.
Yeah.
Got him that contract.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, all right. So that moves us into Denver at Carolina. CMC might be back.
Yeah.
I saw he's nursing a groin injury or a hamstring injury
he's got
or something.
a thigh injury now.
Thigh. That's what it was. Thigh. Yeah. Back or not back, give me the Panthers. The Broncos are just. Watching them play football is
boring.
Insulting.
It's boring.
Yeah.
And it sucks because I like Drew Lock, but
not when he steps on the football field anymore. I'll tell you what, man.
Ever since that game against the Chargers, he hasn't done anything.
No. I mean, it's just gross.
So I'm
That's so rough. The play of the team is just described as gross. That is awful.
Well, I mean, and the thing is, you look at their skill position players, and you're like, what? I don't get it. They got really talented players, even with Cortland Sutton out for the year and everything. But it's like when your quarterback throws the ball nowhere close to you. I mean, it's like watching. Oh, what was his name for Ohio State? Jeff Bowserman?
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
I mean, his throwing chart was in the stands.
Yeah.
I remember that. I'm also going to go Carolina.
Yeah, I will too. Yeah, I'll go Carolina.
You don't want Locke?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
All right, so Tennessee at Jacksonville. Jacksonville's playing everybody tough.
They are, which maybe they think, hey, we got number 2 locked up. Let's just go ahead and play tough. I don't know.
I'm going to go with Tennessee, though, to get a bounce-back win.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
So that moves us. This is a big game. The Colts at Las Vegas.
Dude, I hate the Raiders, man. Like, that
What
is a
team are you
hot,
gonna
cold
get?
team. Yeah, who knows? I don't know, man.
I'm going to
You
go with
guys
the
go.
Colts. I'm going to go with the
Yeah,
Colts.
I'm taking Colts. It's in Vegas.
Yeah.
Let's see. Carr just played really well. Yeah, I'll take the Colts. I don't think he can do it back-to-back games.
Yeah.
So here we go. New York Jets at Seattle.
Ew, yeah.
What do you?
Give me the...
Who's going to call defensive plays for the Jets?
Adam Gase.
Yeah.
He's really trying to keep that job for next
What's
year.
funny is they fired Greg Williams, but not Adam Gase.
Well, I think it's a given that he's got 4 more games left.
Yeah, they just want that
until he
number
never
one.
coaches in the NFL again.
Yeah.
I don't know. He got this job somehow.
Yeah, but I think this has
is-
been an eye opener that it is bad.
An eye-opener like his press conference.
Well done. That was so well played. Yeah, I'm taking Seattle.
Yeah, I'm going to go Seattle.
Yep, Hawks.
Okay, Saints at Philly. Jalen Hurts first start.
Yep.
Could get ugly.
I heard some guys talking today on the TV about Doug Peterson. He's like, hey, I got this rookie quarterback. Got the Saints coming up. Yeah, here you go, kid. Fun.
I will
Carson Wentz
say-
is struggling. Here you go.
I will say I thought going to Hurts was just because their lines, he's at least mobile enough to evade some of the rush. But I still think this is a super rough week to throw him out there. Saints have arguably the best defense in the league. So I'm obviously going to pick the Saints.
Yeah, Saints.
Yep, Saints.
All right, so Falcons at Chargers. Chargers coming off. They got taken behind the woodshed.
I mean, a shutout?
45.
Like a blowout shutout?
And Cam Newton only threw for 69 yards. And they lost 45 to nothing. How does that even happen?
I don't know what. New England's got some figuring out to do next year.
This is going to sound crazy, though, is I'm going to the Chargers. I don't think Atlanta plays as well not at home. And I think that the Chargers are going to – their pride button was pushed. They're going to have a bounce-back game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like the Chargers, but I'm going to take Atlanta here.
I'm going to go with Herbs.
Yeah.
Herbs and the Chargers.
All right, Washington at San Francisco. Washington coming off a big win
Yeah.
against the Steelers.
I will take Washington because that is one team that I'm like falling in love with. The way they're playing, Ron Rivera's got – that is a tough team.
Alex Smith doesn't turn the ball over.
No, and the thing is the 49ers, I mean, with Nick Mullins in there, I know he's not a terrible quarterback, but he's not going to go out there and light it up and win you ball games.
Yeah, I'm taking the Niners.
I'm going to go with Washington.
This one's I just love how Washington's playing right now.
Yep.
I'm going to go with Washington also. So big game here. I think we're all Buffalo fans. Pittsburgh at Buffalo.
Give me Buffalo.
I was going to
Let's
say
start
too.
the magic.
I think
Let's start
Josh
the Week
Allen-
17 magic.
It's our season, damn it.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, everything
still
else is
real to
going
me.
right.
I'm going to go Buffalo too because I really think Pittsburgh is struggling. And, just as the Browns have benefited from an easy schedule, the Steelers have benefited from an easy schedule. And it seems like all their tough games are kind of clumped together in these last 4.
And
I think the
losing-
NFL did them dirty a little bit too with the whole Tennessee COVID thing. So their bye week was what, week 3, 4?
Yeah, super early.
They've been playing some games.
Yeah, and they've got injuries mounting up on the defensive side. So it's not the same Steelers defense that has been dominating
that Bud
all year.
Dupree injury, that is going to be big time.
Yeah, Devin Bush is out.
Yep.
So Hayden maybe.
Who you going with?
Oh, Buffalo, man.
Buffalo,
Yeah,
so
give
we're all on
me
Buffalo?
Josh Allen.
All right. So that
Slinging
moves us into our matchup. Ravens at Cleveland Monday night. Last week was the biggest game in franchise history in 20 years. It seems like every week the next game is the biggest game we've played in 20 years. This is a huge game for us, another huge game for Baker. What do you guys think?
Give me the Browns. I did
good to
not
see you
pick.
back.
I did not pick the Browns last week. That was a prove it to me game. I'm in Browns. And I think it's probably going to be somewhere. I mean, it's going to be tight. It's probably going to be like 24-21. Hard fought game.
Yep. I'm going Browns also. Same with Josh. I wanted to see us do it against a quality opponent. and we did it in a big way. I also think it's tight. I'm going to pick us a little bit higher scoring, 27-24.
A little bit.
I said a little bit.
You weren't lying.
Yeah.
I'm going to take Cleveland. I'm going to take Cleveland with a score of 28-21. But, I mean, this is a toss-up game. It's
If we lose this game, as long as we lose it close again, I don't want to get blown out, and I don't think we will.
I just want to see good things. I want to continue to see the progression.
Yep.
You know?
It would be nice to beat them, though. Like, you know, a year in which we're having a great year. I don't want to possibly win the division and lose to them twice.
Yeah.
You know,
they've had our number for years. I mean, literally since we've came back.
Yeah,
and
but
we've showed that, you know, we can. I mean, we throttled them last year.
Yeah,
with a terrible coach, a terrible line. You know, so we can play with these guys. You know, we got a good coach now.
That's funny because that's exactly what I was going to say too about the coach. Like, if somebody's going to game plan this week and look back at week 1 and see what happened, look what Baltimore's been doing since then in the recent weeks, it's Stefanski. I think he can put together something here.
Yep. All right. So that wraps up our game picks. We'll see how we do. We'll let Zach enter his picks on the honor system. So, you know, if he goes perfect this week, we'll know that something's a little up. So thanks for checking out another episode of the Dawgs. You know, Browns are 9-3. As you can tell, we're super pumped about it. Every week's a huge game. AFC North title still on the line. So we'll see how the last month of this season shapes up. Remember to check us out on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and the AGA app. Please subscribe on YouTube. Also, remember, download the Thrive Fantasy app. Use promo code DAWGS to get your 100% match when you put in at least $20. It's a ton of fun. Check it out. Start tomorrow night. They'll have, contest for tomorrow night's game. Tune in next week when we break down this big Monday night matchup with the Ravens and preview our game with the surging New York Giants. Have a good week, everybody.